Hello and welcome back to New World. So there is a game that I have been waiting to talk to you guys about for a pretty long time. I kind of wanted to see all the footage, and my goodness, is there so much footage now of this game. I was very skeptical of it, but as you can tell by the title of this video, we are talking about Wars Outlaws. Now, Wars Outlaws is a Ubisoft game, and they're attempting to make an open world Star Wars game, which is actually pretty cool. I love Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order. I thought those games were really cool. It's pretty cool to see that there's another entrance into the Star Wars world that I'm actually excited about. Now, I am a little bit skeptical of it though, honestly, because it is a Ubisoft game, and Ubisoft is known for making beautiful open world games, but they always kind of lack a lot in just the overall experience of interactiveness or story, or it's always something missing with the graphics. How it looks very good when they reveal it to everybody, but then once you play it in your hands, it's like they took out a lot of things. They have a pretty interesting reputation for games, but this game I'm a little bit confident about. So if you like my content, if you like the videos that I have, please subscribe. I want to get to 2,000 subscribers before the end of the year. But anywho, let's go ahead and talk about Star Wars Outlaws. So to start off, like any Ubisoft game, the game looks amazing. It looks beautiful in my opinion. I really love how they took each different biome and each different thing inside of the Star Wars Outlaws world, that each planet has its own uniqueness. And in a lot of open world games can be extremely wide and have like one house here and another house all the way over here and nothing in the middle, so it just feels spacious, but it also feels empty. But I like how in Star Wars Outlaws, everything's very close. There's a lot of NPCs in the street, there's ads everywhere, there's a lot of extra stuff going on, a lot of interactions, and I think that's what makes an open world game feel a lot more lived in, is when games actually take into account that these are people, they have interactions, they talk. And I think that that's cool, walking in a world where you're stepping in and it's a lot more going on than you. There's a lot of games, especially sometimes in Starfield, where you're walking into Starfield and there's not a lot going on. You have to walk to talk to someone, or if they're talking to each other, it's just kind of side by side. There's not really a lot of interaction going on or a lot of things, but it seems like in Star Wars Outlaws, everything is moving. Everything is moving a lot. Everything is kind of like you go inside of this place and it's a lot going on here, and you're going inside of a bar or whatever, and things are moving and things. It's pretty cool. I honestly really do like the world and the atmosphere that they've created in Star Wars Outlaws. I think it's a very good start to show me that, okay, at least it's not like every other open world game. It seems very interactive. Now, the next thing that I saw is there's a lot of choices in this game. The game seems like it's very heavily relied on. Whatever choice you make will dictate how other missions progress forward. Now, I think that's very cool. I do think it's very interesting how they take into it, because there's only seems like two options. You can either do option A or option B. And option A seems like, you know, you go one way, option B is just a bad way or the rebellious way. I do wish there was a lot more things that you could do as far as outcomes and as far as like dialogue. There's an extensive dialogue system. It does play in like a cinematic system, where what kind of scares me is because it's cinematic that maybe your choices won't really matter in the main storyline. Hopefully that's not true, but I am pretty worried about that, because when the game is so heavily focused on the cinematic aspect of things, it's kind of like if it's choice based, it either does very well or none of that really matters. Like a Telltale game where a lot of decisions seemed like it played so much and the outcome felt like it was going to be so amazing, but it really didn't matter. The game was going to progress in whatever way it was supposed to. Any other character deaths or anything, everybody can't be saved. And I hope that in this, they kind of really make it, whatever person passes away or whatever you do with this person later on along the lines, later on, any further progression in any other mission beyond that one, going later into the game, that person should have been important. You should have saved them, and this is what happened to your outcome. So I hope that they take that. I know that's a lot to ask, especially for a Ubisoft game, but hopefully they do something, change the dynamic of what games are now. Choices should matter way more in this game, especially it being your first open world attempt at a Star Wars game. Hopefully choices matter. I'm a big person when it comes to choices in games. I'm very big on when games bring that to you, it should be a lot that goes on. I feel like that's very lackluster in a lot of games. It feels like it just progresses forward. And if for you to have an open world game, I do think that open world games should have a lot more choice in them. Now, it does look like it has a Red Dead Redemption-like experience, and I know that's a very, very interesting comparison to have, but it does feel like Star Wars Outlaws is going to take that approach of everything in the game is beautiful. I think everything in the game looks very, very nice. Everything has like a good flow. I hope it does take account of the 45-second rule, where after 45 seconds I see something new, I fight something new, I'm in this new area, or something happens, or something jumps. It's Star Wars at the end of the day. A whole lot of stuff can happen, so I really do like that. It kind of breeds into Red Dead Redemption. You have a main protagonist. I wish there was character creator, but I'll get into that later. But there is a main character, and usually when you have a main character, that does save a lot of time with different scenes going forward and different things that you can add on beyond character creators and hairstyles and things like that, that I do think it plays into that. We can add this, we can add that, we can add that. And it does seem like it has kind of like that Red Dead Redemption flow, where it's beautiful all around in different areas, and there's transportation, you can ride different cars, also a GTA 5 like experience. You can ride different cars, you can go in different biomes in different areas, you can go here, there, everybody is interacting with each other. It seems full, the world seems close but big enough at the same time, which I do think is pretty cool, and it does kind of give me that Red Dead Redemption like feel. But going into how you travel in the game, you do have a ship. Now I don't know if there are different ships you can choose from, but based off of what I've seen, you can seamlessly go into a planet. You can drive close to that planet and seamlessly go into them. Now I did see somewhere that there's only 5 planets, but honestly less is more, and I do feel like the more that you have for a player to experience, the less they'll feel like you need more. So I'm glad that, you know, there's a seamless there. Starfield didn't have that. And the more that you think about it, even though the loading times for me, even though I have a 4090, it goes by very fast. But at the same time, having a seamless, even just a small cutscene to make you really immerse yourself inside the game once it's in your hands, it goes a long way. And I do think that that might really change the aspect of the game, and it might really change how people, you know, look at this game comparing it to Starfield, because Starfield will get a lot of comparison coming up, because a lot of these games are in that space-like realm, and whoever does it right or does it the best becomes that crown of space exploration and space open worldness. So I really am very interested to see what people are going to take about Star Wars Outlaws, because it's already doing things that Starfield is not doing, and that's seamless exploration, less planets, a more packed out, more interactive areas. And I do think that puts a plus inside of Star Wars Outlaws for me personally. Now, there's a lot of good things about this game. I know I've said a lot of things twice, and I'm very excited to really talk about this game because it does look really nice, and I was hesitant on it, but now I'm actually excited for it. I'm actually going to buy the game when it releases. There are some things that do interest me, and there are some things that I do wish that was in the game. And number one, of course, is the character creation. Now, in a game where it's the first ever open world experience for a Star Wars like game, character creation is so important. And the reason being is I know that it saves a lot of time from adding different things as a different aspects as a developer to save time in that area. But at the end of the day, lazy development, not necessarily calling anybody lazy. I know it takes a lot of time to do a game, but sometimes I think it might fall into lazy development when it comes to a game where it says, hey, I just want to have one character and let people play and change outfits and things like that, which does take a lot of time. But the more experience that you have in a game comes from how much it relates to you and how you can step in the game as yourself or somebody you want to cosplay and immerse yourself in that world. And I do think that does take away from a lot of games where people want to create themselves. People want to create lookalikes. People want to create different people in the Star Wars universe or their own lives or their favorite characters from a movie or TV show inside of a game to really enhance their experience. And I think that if people don't have that, especially in the very first Star Wars open world experience, you do kind of miss out on that extra goodness about your game. Like, we didn't have it for Star Wars Outlaws. I don't know, in any Star Wars game are you able to create your own character and go inside of a world and really immerse yourself. And I do think they missed out on that mark, but it could still be a great game. Characters and how characters look doesn't really dictate or tell if a game is good or not. It's just something that's missing. But at the same time though, I do really hope and I do really wish in the next, if they're making a 2 or anything, you're able to create your own character. But it could have just added a lot, like especially when it came to Dragon's Dogma 2, how character creation was just so hyped up. Everybody thought it was insane, and it made the game a lot more interesting for people and a lot more persuading for people to buy the game, solely because I can just create characters for hours and bring it and put it on a gallery and people can download it, and people just want to feel included and people want to feel, you know, good about themselves and anything to escape from reality into a game. And I do think that not including that in the first Star Wars open world game is a big miss. But at the same time, no, it will not take away from the game at all. I do hope the choices actually come inside of the story. Now, what I mean by that is I really do hope whatever choices that you make in the game, whether it's a side quest, whether it's a main quest, that it'll dive deep into the main story, and you wish that you had, or wish that you kept, or wish that you didn't do or rob this person, because it adds more enemies or different class of enemies for the next mission. I do wish that they added that, but it looks like, in my opinion, that choices only change how the mission outcome is, but it doesn't change the dynamic of the story, if you get what I'm saying. Like I said, cinematic games do have a tendency of either being great with choices, or it's good enough for a certain time period, and then after that it doesn't really matter anymore. It's in the garbage. Your side characters don't mention anything, because I feel like the first game that's open world, has character creators, and actually have choices that completely change the ending of the game or the next mission, or all of that in between, becomes the crown of open worldness, because there's no other game you need to play after this. I can do everything in this game, and I think that it seems like it won't matter. It seems like they have a planned out storyline, and it's just going to go. I could be wrong, but at the same time, anything that's just planned out in any game, it's like, okay, cool, it's a great story. But once you start marketing it as you can make choices, then people are like, can I really make choices, or is it just like every other game where it just, you know, it doesn't really matter. Now, also, I do feel like it also does have that Ubisoft feel. Like, the perfect example is Frontiers of Pandora. It is a beautiful, beautiful game. I really enjoyed the hour and I believe like 2-3 hours that I played of the game, but then over time you start realizing it's just a Ubisoft game. It's point A, point B. All the other point A, point Bs after the first one, it's kind of like the same thing with a different face on it. And it does kind of deplete how the game is, because the game can be beautiful, but once it starts feeling repetitive, that's when it starts to not become fun anymore. And it's like, this is just point A, point B. Same thing with Dragon's Dogma 2. It's a lot of the same copy and pasted monsters when you walk on your trail to go wherever from point A, point B, but it's the same enemies, the same thing. I hope that's not what's going on inside of this game. I hope that they kind of shy away from that and add in stuff that we enjoy, add in stuff that we like, but at the same time, a lot of repetitiveness in a game like Ubisoft is known, and I hope that they shy away from that. But it looks like it, but like I said, I could be wrong. Based on the gameplay that I saw, it just looks fun. It looks like a really, really fun game. It looks like a game where if I have it in my hands and I'm playing it, it seems like it's going to be a good time. It's a lot going on. It's a lot of goodness. It's just a lot going on. There's a lot I can do, and there's a lot of things that other games didn't do that I like what I'm seeing. I wish it was in my hands, but just thinking about it, if it was in my hands, this is what it looks like. This is what it plays like. This is how the game looks. This is how the game is going to feel. You're going to have space combat. You're going to have on-ground combat. You're going to have a variety of different areas to explore. You're going to have a lot of things that Ubisoft is very good at, especially when it comes to graphics and quality and how good a game looks. You have all of that. So what should I be upset about? Nothing. It's just time to try it out. If the game becomes very repetitive, I'll be upset that it's repetitive, but it won't really kill too much of the game for me. But you know, some games have done that, and those have been Ubisoft games, sadly. But at the same time, though, I'm giving them a chance. I'm giving Ubisoft a chance to make me just proud for one time. Like, y'all did it right. Y'all did it right. I don't know if I think the game had a T rating, and I'm scared about that, because T ratings feel like it's very hand-holdy. M is like, you wanted to bring it to the adult audience. So once you bring it to the adult audience, a lot of the things that, like a lot of the gore, a lot of the, you know, plot lines, the intensity, just everything goes into that. But like I said, I could just be nitpicking, or I could be wrong. But me just being very skeptical about this Ubisoft game is just the reputation that they set. But at the same time, though, they also have a chance to just say, hey, we did it right. And all I want is for a game to do it right this year in 2024. We had a lot of bangers and we had a lot of misses. And there's been games that I've been hyped up about that I wish I did videos on that have disappointed me greatly. But I'm giving Star Wars Outlaws a chance. So if you like the content that I have, if you relate to anything in this video, feel free to share anything in the comment section below. Talk amongst each other. I will answer to almost everything that I can. But at the end of the day, are you excited about Star Wars Outlaws? Do you think that this game is going to change gaming, change the reputation of Ubisoft, or do you think it's more of the same? Please let me know in the comments below. New World out.